missing someone.
We have all enjoyed taking care of rioters, cleaners, Rikers, LMB, and even the hunters. But what is next? As the Division 2 creeps closer and closer, many of our brains are going crazy trying to think of who our new antagonists are going to be. All we know about the new factions is that one of them is called the True Sons. We know that the leader is an ex-JTF soldier, but otherwise we know little to nothing. I think it's reasonable to assume the force is made up of former military members, as DC is full of soldiers, and many would be motivated to join like-minded people to attain stability. As it comes to previous factions, I think only the Rioters and LMB may return in some way. The Rioters, they barely are a faction as much as a low-level enemy made up of random people. From the intel, we find that many of them are just regular people looking for a group to stay safe with. I think we may have them in some form simply as the lowest enemy in Division 2. With the new civilian groups being the Rioters, and they may just be the opposite of the ones that we meet. The LMB, on the other hand, well, real-life PMCs, private military companies, operate all over the earth, made up of former soldiers who operate on contracts all over the world. The thing about these groups is that they are hired by both governments and private organizations to do jobs. If Bliss went to New York City to protect Wall Street properties, I can't imagine there weren't many more members of the LMB in other states and other parts of the world defending other places as well. Realistically, I expect all of the new factions may have some callbacks to the old ones. The quote-unquote faction I most expect to see again are the Hunters. It's tough to consider them a faction because they are so rare and we know so little about who they are and what their purpose is. I highly suspect that we see them in Division 2 in some capacity and even possibly with a highly expanded role. Other than that, I expect the True Sons to be the second tier faction with one below and two or more above. The one below could be a rioter-ish or some kind of hostile civilian faction, similar to the ones that we also can be friendly with. We may even find that they are the same, that we can be friendly or unfriendly with various civilian groups around the map. I think the factions above the True Sons will likely be replacing the Cleaners and the LMB in some way. The Cleaners were a fanatical faction that were taking extreme measures in their situation. I suspect we'll have some kind of cult-ish / religious group that thinks the event is end times and will be acting accordingly. The top faction is a real mystery. If it follows the idea of the LMB, they will be just as well prepared as us, if not more, and we could see them led by a rogue agent, maybe Keener, or some high-ranking knowledgeable people that were in DC at the time of the emergency. I'm excited to see what we will be getting when it comes to new factions and new mechanics. Even the little of the True Sons that we saw seems very different than anything we saw in Division 1. And I genuinely cannot wait to see it. Thank you for checking out the video. Be on the lookout for new ones. Check me out on Twitter and Twitch as Baundiesel. Check out your Division 2 news, updates, and speculation on Twitter at the Division 2 Hub. Look for the EchoCast on SoundCloud and iTunes. Support me on Patreon if you wish. All those links are below. That said, this was Baundiesel, and until the next time.